Welcome to This Daring Adventure podcast, where we work on bridging the gap between where we are and where we want to be in order to live a bigger and bolder life. In this podcast, we will provide inspiration, tips, and skills you need to make your life the adventure you want it to be. Here's your host, mindset mentor, and life coach, Trista Guertin.
Hey everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you about you and your thoughts. And this is an important exercise to understand what's going on in our minds, because as you have probably heard, they estimate that we have about 60 or 70,000 thoughts per day. And I think we can all agree that a lot of those thoughts, maybe half, maybe more, are going to be garbage. And if we know that these thoughts are going to be garbage, what happens is a lot of times we will judge ourselves for thinking these crappy thoughts. And so we are feeling bad about feeling bad and beating ourselves up for negativity and judging ourselves for judging ourselves. And it's an endless cycle that really wastes a huge amount of time, of energy, and of focus. So today, it's not so much about learning how to eliminate some of the negative thoughts and crappy thinking that we do have, but to eliminate that extra layer of feeling badly and judging ourselves and suffering that we add on top of what's already going on. So where we want to start is by knowing what we're thinking and noticing our thoughts. We have to understand how our mind is working first. And so we really want to listen to it, and we really want to become conscious and aware of how our brain is functioning and the thoughts that it's offering. And one of the best ways I've learned to do this is by writing it down. And so you can take your journal or a piece of paper and take 10 or 15 minutes and just write down everything that's going through your mind. It's a great exercise to do first thing in the morning because it's sort of like tidying up, cleaning out your brain, preparing for the day. And it gives you that opportunity to really understand in a way that when you are in the midst of thinking all of these thoughts and they're flying through, around you or through you and in you, and then it all happens so quickly that you can miss things and you might not fully catch everything that's going on in your brain. But if you can put it down on paper, just write 10 or 15 minutes, as I said, everything out on paper. Don't censor yourself. Don't judge yourself. And then you can take a look at it in black and white and really know what you're dealing with first before you can start cleaning it up and feeling better. Now, be forewarned that you may be a little surprised or shocked once you read what's on the paper. The important thing is not to judge yourself or feel badly about what's there. And whatever is there doesn't mean you're broken, doesn't mean anything has gone wrong. It doesn't mean that you should be doing anything differently or better, right? What we're doing here is just cleaning things up and understanding in a more in-depth and cohesive way what's going on in our brains. And part of the purpose of this will be to think better, right? It's also going to be a lot more relaxed. This isn't about stressing yourself out and pushing yourself to be more optimistic to be more positive, because making this a full-time job is not the answer. But you really want to ease into it and relax about it. Again, this is about eliminating that additional layer of suffering that we are putting ourselves through. So the outcome of what I'm outlining today is to help you just let go, release, relax, and start to feel a little bit better. Once we know how we are processing information, how we are looking at the world, then we can start to examine this and start to change our perspective and start to think in new ways to get a different perspective. But first, go through what you've written on that piece of paper or in your journal and just take a look to see what's going through your mind and where you are judging yourself, where you are adding that extra layer of suffering, where you're beating yourself up. Then we want to make sure that we know and that you are fully on board with understanding that this is completely normal. Whatever is going on in your brain, whatever thoughts it's offering you, is completely normal. Our brain is designed to keep us safe and protect us. And so it is looking for problems. It is looking for negativity. This is what it's supposed to do, and nothing has gone wrong. So if it's looking for danger, if it's looking for fear, this is a part of what has kept us alive and evolving as a species over the past 40,000 years. And so now we are no longer threatened as much physically for our survival, but our brain is still programmed to look for problems. And so it will see this in our day-to-day lives, whether it's email, in the media, from our friends, from our boss, whatever it is. It's still scanning for problems and it's still trying to keep us safe. So be aware of what you're thinking and know that it is completely normal. Part of what you can do is understand why you might be thinking the way you are. And some of these thoughts might make sense, right? If you are going to have a job interview tomorrow, it makes sense that your brain is offering you thoughts that things might go wrong. You might say the wrong thing. You might not be able to answer the questions. It's perfectly normal. Other thoughts and issues might be coming back on a regular basis. And these might be thoughts that you have had from your past, perhaps that you've carried over from your childhood, perhaps from events in the not too distant past, whatever it is. But these are repetitive issues and feelings and thoughts that keep coming up for you. For instance, I know for myself, I turned down a job several years ago and spent a lot of time in the subsequent years, months, years, beating myself up for not taking that job. And so one of the things I had to do was to process that emotion, which means you allow for that emotion, you sit with it, and you really focus on what's coming up for you in your body and just allow it to be there. And then reframe it to know that I made the best decision that I could. I was doing the best I could at the time, that I wouldn't be where I am today if I had taken that job, that everything worked out exactly as it should have. Nothing has gone wrong. Right? So just offering yourself some of these thoughts to reframe and to let some of that go is an important part of the process. And I will certainly get into this more in a future episode, because it's some of the most powerful and important work that we can do for ourselves in letting go the past in order to focus on today and what we want to create in the future. But for now, you want to realize that whatever we're thinking is fine. And some of these thoughts are going to make perfect sense because of what's going on in our day-to-day lives. And some of these are held over from the past. And we know that, especially as children, we have interpreted things in a way that was trying to keep us safe at the time and was a part of our limited reasoning as a child before our brain matured and we became more sophisticated. So give yourself a break. Know that, again, nothing has gone wrong, that all of this can be explained and that you're not broken and that your brain was simply trying to keep you safe. A lot of these thoughts and these thinking patterns have become habits, and we have discontinued them into adulthood because we have not learned anything different. Nobody has taught us differently. And so our brain continues to keep us safe. But now you are gaining awareness about how the brain is operating. You have a greater understanding of what's going on in your brain and the thoughts that it's offering you. And you know that this is all completely normal. So this process alone can give you some relief. It's perfectly normal. Now, the next step is to diffuse and remove some of the emotion and some of the judgment from the thoughts. And the way we want to do this is to take one of your thoughts from your journaling exercise and remove all of the adjectives, all of the adverbs, all of the opinions. And what you want to do is just have facts. No judgment, no commentary, no opinions. And so if you had a thought that perhaps, my body is looking really old, the fact remains that I have a body. That it's looking really old is just an opinion. So writing down, my body is looking really old, which is what we've noticed is going on in our brain and a thought that our brain is offering us. And then diffusing it with, I have a body. And offering that thought to yourself and practicing it whenever you catch yourself saying, oh, I'm looking really old, my body's looking really old, can help to move you towards a better feeling thought. And that will start to eliminate some of the drama. It will start to eliminate some of the judgment. It will eliminate some of all of the emotion that is tied to the negative thoughts that you're having. And so you will get a little bit more relief and a little bit more space from it. And that alone will start to change your thinking habits by your brain around your body. And you can practice that thought, I have a body, I have a body, throughout the day. And especially offering yourself that thought if you catch yourself judging your body in that way. Next, you want to start moving beyond just the neutral thought of, I have a body, to more intentional thinking. And so, although you've already started to meet yourself where you're at, you're in practice the thought, I have a body. And then start to offer yourself new thoughts. My body is okay. And you practice that until it starts to feel better to you and 100% believable. My body is okay. So you've moved from my body is looking really old to I have a body, then to my body is okay. And then the next step would be perhaps I can enjoy my body. I have a healthy, fit body. My body is a wonderful tool. I love my body. So you can pick thoughts along the way that resonate with you. And even if you don't 100% believe them, there has to be some element of belief in them that you can practice over and over again until you feel absolutely certain that you believe this thought. And then choose another good feeling thought that you can practice until you believe it as well. And repeat this process until you get to a thought that you are completely satisfied with. In this case, it would be, I love my body. My body is amazing. Whatever it is. But the idea is to pick thoughts, to practice and bridge your way from the negative and judgmental thought you're having about yourself, or it can be about anything, and move yourself towards better feeling thoughts that you can believe and that you can feel. Right? And so as you start to move forward in your thinking and becoming more intentional, you will start to feel a little bit better and it will start to be a little bit easier. It's a practice and a skill that you can develop. And it's more than just positive thinking. It's more than just being optimistic. It's more than just practicing affirmations, which are all useful in and of themselves. But this can be a very, very effective method of changing the way you feel and the habits that your brain has. And so just remember that your thoughts are not who you are. Your brain is trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. So you will have tens of thousands of thoughts each day. And a lot of them will be negative because that is how our brain operates. If we can start to gain awareness and understanding of our thought patterns, of what we're thinking, and where we're adding that extra layer of judgment and beating ourselves up and making ourselves feel badly, then we can get some relief from that extra layer of suffering. And so using the practice of journaling, writing for 10 or 15 minutes each day, writing down in an uncensored, unjudgmental way of what's going on in your mind, taking a look at it, gaining understanding, and then normalizing what's going on, knowing that this is exactly what is supposed to happen, that nothing has gone wrong, there's nothing wrong with you. And then neutralizing some of the thinking, some of the thoughts that are causing you the most pain. taking out all of the description, all of the opinions, all of the judgment, and just making it into a fact. And then reaching for a better feeling thought. And it doesn't have to be everything's perfect and everything's amazing, because you won't believe it and it won't feel good. So picking another more neutral, better feeling thought that takes out some of the judgment. And for that first initial thought, you might want it just to be very, very factual. Just like my example of, I have a body. And practicing that thought until it resonates, until it feels good. And then picking another thought. And so we're laddering our thoughts to more intentional thinking and a better feeling thought. So you can reprogram your brain. We know that this is possible. But it does take awareness and it does take practice. And you're not supposed to be good at it at the beginning. So don't beat yourself up for any time. There's no judgment. Be curious about what's going on, about your thought patterns, about where your thoughts are coming from, and have compassion for yourself. Give yourself that space to explore and to grow and to allow yourself to feel better. That's the most important part of this process, is that you can start to feel better immediately. You always have that power. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. And of course, I appreciate your time. If you can leave a review, leave any comments, I would love to hear from you and I would appreciate your support. You can review on Apple Podcasts or whatever platform you listen to this podcast on. If you're interested in trying coaching for yourself, I do offer free 1-hour sessions. The link to my calendar will be in the show notes. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to learn more about the coaching and try it out for yourself. You do have enough opportunity to go through one of the problems that you're facing and help you to work through it a little bit, examine your thinking around it, and to get some space and perspective. It's a lot of fun as well. No pressure. You don't have to prepare anything in advance. You just show up and I do all the work. So I would love to hear from you. If that's something that you're interested in, please sign up and let's chat. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to This Daring Adventure podcast with your host, Trista Guertin. We hope you enjoyed the tips and conversations on how to get excited about life again. As always, you can head to tristaguertin.com for additional resources and to book a one-on-one coaching session. You can also follow Trista on Instagram at Trista V. Guertin. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.